back to my channel. This is part number three to Project Runway Season 16 Episode 5 Challenge, the inspiration of good or evil. Good or evil? I'm doing evil. If you wonder how I came to that decision, I didn't do it on my own. Watch part 1 to find out how that decision was made. So, what I did since the end of the last video, I put the new thread in the machine, because it's kind of a tedious, long process. You don't need to see all that. So I changed it from the black from the dress to the blue for the lace. And I had my dress on the dress form. However, decided to take it off, and I'm going to explain to you why. I need to be able to pin the lace onto my dress form, and I don't want to risk snagging the material. If you snag it, there's really not much you can do with that material, so I'd have to make a whole new dress. Even though it was super simple and super quick, I don't want to have to do that. They had 2 days to do this. I'm trying to do this in far less time, just to show you guys that it can be done. So, excuse me, without further ado, I'm going to change the angle of the camera so that you can see my dress form. I did have to raise my dress form up so that I knew how the length was going to work. So I'm just hoping that you guys will all be able to see it all. If not, I'm going to have to do some things while the camera is recording, and I don't like to do that. I really don't. It gets all jumbly. And I know that when I'm watching videos, I don't like to see that. It makes me a little bit dizzy, sometimes a little bit woozy. So, let's see what we got. Alright, we're going to move you this away. Well, you get to see almost all of it. I could probably prop you up just a little bit, and you should be good to go. So that's what I'm going to do. That's a little bit much, but you'll be able to see the top part of it here. And then when I go down to finish the bottoms, the bottom of it, I will obviously show you guys the whole look. So without further ado, we bring in this gorgeous fabric. Oh, I just love this so much. Woo! It is so beautiful. I can't even. It's just so beautiful, and it feels so luscious, and I love it. Really hope I don't mess it up because they don't have any more of this color at the store. Okay. So I'm going to remove it all from the bolt. There we go. Oh. Okay. It is so beautiful, you guys. I wish you could feel it. I really wish that you could feel how soft and silky and satiny and just how rich this feels. It is so beautiful. And it was not expensive, especially since it was not already on sale, so I got 50% off of it. I mean, come on. 50% off? Yeah. I'm down for that any day of the week. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up and drape it. I'm going to drape it because I'm actually going to have sleeves. So, I'm actually going to do a sleeve on this. That's right here, I can figure out later. So I'm going to pull it closed because the excess fabric that's hanging off the bottom is what I'm actually going to use for the sleeves. So I do not want it to close all of the way. I just want it to kind of hang, but I want to make sure that I cut it in a way that it will hang properly. Because if I do it like this, it's just going to hang open like that with little ruffles on the side over here. I do not want that. I actually want it to hang properly. So I'm going to cut it properly. And in order to do that, I need to make sure that it is pinned properly. So here we have here. Okay. And I need to grab my pins. Pardon the reach. Okay. Alright. Oh, the problem with lace and pinning is that the pins will go right through the lace. So I like to do a cross pin if and when necessary to kind of hold it there. Alright. So this is here. Okay. And then I'm just going to pin this extra that's hanging right here up here to the top. I don't need it, so I'm just going to pin it over here to get it out of the way so that when I go to cut it, I know exactly where I need to cut. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this side over here. Make it come up so that it's straight. And pin it into place. Okay. And over here. That is just about perfect right there. But we do actually want the fabric to match up if possible. It just looks a little bit better if it matches up. So that's what we will do. It is possible, so we will do it. Okay. So this part and this part will hang. And let me just take this extra over here and pin this up over here. Let's get that out of the way. Alright, and just pin all this mess up here. Okay, so now we have where it needs to be lined up, which is great. This is going to be excess fabric so that it kind of just hangs a little bit extra in the front, which is exactly what we want it to do. Then we need to turn around to the back because we want the back to be up. We want it to cover everything. So I'm going to pin this up here. Pin this. You have all this excess fabric up here, that's fine. You're going to cut that off. Pin this up here. And then do the same thing over here. Pinch it up. Put it down. Top needs to meet because you're going to need to put your seam right here. So pin that down there like that so that it meets. Okay. And then do the same thing on this right side over here. Bring this fabric up from the front. Pin it in place because again, this is where your seam is going to be for your shoulder. Pin it in place. Now your back is pinned and you are ready to go to find out where your armholes need to be. Okay, so you have this little point right here. It's a good indication that that's where your armholes need to be. So what you're going to do is you're going to just go ahead and cut out the circle for each of the arms while it is on the dress form. You're going to cut down right here. You can just cut a slit right here if you want to, and then cut the excess out so you don't have to worry about cutting on a circular form. And then we will go through and stitch this top seam here, the top seam over here, and then we're going to also need to cut off the excess at the bottom to make the arms. So I'm going to go ahead and make these cuts. I'm super nervous about doing it. I know it's going to work out, but I'm still nervous about it because I love this fabric so much. So, alright, here we go. Alright, so we're going to cut over a little bit. And cut the armhole. And that should be big enough. So then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a safety pin and pin the top together right here for the seam, so that if anything happens, like the pins fall out or whatever, I automatically know that this is the shoulder seam and that's where it needs to be. I'm going to do another one on the inside edge, just to be on the safe side, because I would rather be safe than sorry. Okay, so that's pinned up there. This is the armhole. You're actually going to stitch the fabric from the bottom that you cut off onto here to make your arms. I'm going to cut the hole on the other arm the same exact way. Not big enough, so let's cut it a little bit bigger, because we don't want it to be too tight. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so that'll be good. Then I'm going to safety pin the tops again of the shoulders in place, just in case something were to happen. I know exactly where they need to be. Okay. And then this piece here also. Okay. Alright, so that's in place, that's in place. This is just kind of hanging out here. I'll poke it in there a little bit better. Okay. So now I have to cut the length off the bottom. So I need to straighten this out, because when I twist the dress form around, the fabric gets twisted around the bottom. So I gotta bring the fabric to the correct position. out so that I know that it's going to be long enough in the back. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around, flail it out this way, and then I'll be able to let you guys see what it looks like and where we're at as far as cutting is concerned. So let me turn it around. And then just grab this. Front. Okay. Okay, so forgive me while I move the camera, but I do want you to be able to see this. Okay, so here's the back of the dress, or well, of the duster jacket thing, and it comes down there. So right about where this fold is right here that I did, is where I'm going to cut it, because that's about how long I want the actual duster to be. This is my height, so it's going to be a little bit longer than I am tall, so it'll kind of drag on the ground a little bit behind me, which is perfect. And then all of this excess fabric here we will have for the arms. So plenty of fabric, loving it. One of the things that you can do to make sure that it stays in place is you can do side seams on it. So you can cut it right along the side right here and then pin it. Or you can just leave it how it is. I think I'm going to try and just leave it how it is. I like it without the seams. It's really pretty. It lines up really well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it right about here. I'm actually going to straighten it out a little bit and cut right along this line right here so that it is a little bit more scalloped edge, so it has a little bit more interest to it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to plug the camera back in because my battery's almost dying, and then I will get my scissors out and start cutting it and show you what we got. Okay, hold on one moment. I'm so sorry. I'm not having to do this while recording. Okay. Alright, we're actually going to pop that down a little bit now. Okay. Alright, and you know what? I forgot to reopen my blinds from after trying on the dress, so it's a little bit dark in here. Plus I just realized I do not have my overhead light on, so I do apologize for that, you guys. I will go ahead and remedy both of those issues right now. Okay, and get it there. There we go. I'll turn on my overhead light and then I will start cutting. There's light. Easier peasier. To be a little squeezier. Okay, so I'm going to do it along this line right here. We said, so I'm going to cut right along there. And then I know it'll be even with itself because the pattern itself is even. So, well, wavy, but even. Okay. This is so pretty. I love this material so much. I'm hoping that I will find an occasion to where I can actually wear this, because it is just stunning. It is such a beautiful blue. I just can't get over it. I know I keep saying stuff about it. I apologize, but I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's like art. You know, it should make you feel something. Good art should make you feel something. And this fabric is actually art to me. It gives me emotion. I actually have an emotion towards this fabric. So, the people at Casa who made it, really good job. And I really do want to go back and get more in other colors. And if I do, I will show you guys what I got. They have bright colors, dark colors, in-between colors. This is a lot more difficult and time-consuming than cutting a straight line. So, but I think that it'll look really nice. Just a little added detail to the bottom edge. A lot of times people forget to do something to the bottom of a dress because they're like, oh, it's at the bottom. Nobody's going to notice anyway. Well, they will, because people notice your shoes. So if they're looking at your shoes, they're going to see the bottom of your garment. So, okay. Alright, so this is all cut off now. And we have the bottom of our duster. You can see it has the scalloped edges cut out. So that's really pretty. It's a really, really nice touch. I'm super, super stoked about it, guys. This is going to be gorgeous. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited I'm clapping for myself. Oh, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I cannot wait. I love it. I love it already. Absolutely love it already. Okay, so gonna have to move you back towards me a little bit. So sorry. I know. I'd rather look at this too. Okay, arms. They can be a little tricky. They can be a little easy. It's up to you. Whatever you want them, however you want it to be, that's how it'll be. All you really need to do is find the largest part of your arm. So if you're muscly, flex your muscle. Because if you're in this, you may flex your muscle, not even realize it, and then it gets really tight and uncomfortable, okay? If you have extra meat on you, then go ahead and squish it so that you get the full size of your arm. Because again, you may end up squishing it or flexing your muscle a little bit, and then it's too tight. So you just take your arm measurement, like so. Start at a number, because you're not going to be able to start right here. You're not going to be able to hold that. So start at a number like 5 or something that's easy to subtract. And then put it around the fat part or the muscly part of your arm. Squish it. And then add just a little bit extra because you're going to have seam allowance. And you want it to be able to move. You don't want it to be constricting. You want it to be nice and flowy. So, this right here is how big of a piece you'll need to cut. It'll need to be folded over, and you'll need to cut 2 pieces this wide. So in my case, I'm going to be doing 20 inches or 10 inches folded over. And then you need to decide how long you want it. Now, it's going to go from right about here on your shoulder, right where your shoulder curves over, down. And then how long do you want it? So mine is going to be 20. Well, I want it to be about 23 inches long, but I'm going to cut it to where it's 25 inches long. That way I have a little bit of extra wiggle room with it. I don't have to add any fabric to the end. So it's going to need to be 25 inches long, folded over, and then 10 inches wide. So here's what we're going to do. Because the fabric goes this way, we want it to come down our arm that way. Okay? So we're going to fold it over. Okay. Make sure it's even. No bumps or anything like that. Really take your time with this, especially when it's a fabric that you love that you know you can't get any more of. Because otherwise, you're going to be really upset. And I don't want to have you be upset, and I don't want to be upset either because I love this fabric. You know this. You know this about me. I love this fabric. Okay, so we said how much? 25 inches long. We're going to do it this way, right?